Hi everybody, welcome to another late night stream of UBOAT, where we slip into the role of a German submarine commander in Second World War. Beautiful simulation, beautiful open world, unscripted missions. You really dive into something that, feels like a very natural environment. Right at the end of the last stream, we came along that enemy ship, so without much ado, let's see if we can make them surrender. They already did surrender. The freighter was abandoned by the crew. We can send a team if we want to. Yeah, okay, so we frightened them off the ship. They already abandoned ship, went to their lifeboats, and we can go over there and sink the vessel. Let's send Mr. Schneider, our second mechanic, Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, and the bosun, Mr. Schultz. And 7 crew hands as support. Oh yeah, even in the darkness we can see, we almost cannot see, but we could guess that the Zodiac is going over with the crew. Here we are. We can enter the engine room. Let's make a long story short and scuttle the ship without using explosives. That's because my chief engineer actually has this special skill. And there it goes down. Yeah, here we see the 2 lifeboats. Now the question is whether I should give them some supplies. Let's check what we have in terms of supplies. We are sailing with the large Mark 9 at the moment. Yeah, we could afford to share a bit of food with them. We can't get any prisoners on board anymore because we are full. Let's give them some supplies like that. This will increase our reputation a bit further. Although that late in the game, that doesn't make too much of a difference anymore. Hey, removed koala. How are you doing? Nice to have you in. So, yeah, we are almost through the week. I hope you had a good week so far. Let's keep going. And yeah, we are on the way back home. Oh yeah, nice that you are there from the very beginning. So around here, it's almost exactly midnight. So let's start this one. So I didn't do any introduction because we right away ran into that ship, which we, kind of captured end of the last stream. And yeah, welcome guys. a brief introduction to anybody who is not so familiar with the game or with my stream. This is UBOAT, and it's placed into World War II, a setting, and it's free. I mean, of course, you have your seniors and you have to actually follow the orders of your seniors, but still you can go just anywhere. It's a complete open world, and enemy ships as well as friendly ships are modeled in the world, and you run into them or you don't, depending on how lucky or unlucky you are. And I've been starting this complete playthrough through the war in the very beginning of the war in September 39. And as you see in the top left corner, now we are in December 43, which means we are already 4 years in the war. And I've been streaming just any single mission, any single day that we did in the game, sharing it with you, my nice little community, on Twitch. And since a while I'm also uploading the videos to YouTube. So dear YouTube watchers, it's a pleasure to have you watching. Please understand that I don't have the time to do any cutting. So you can cycle through the videos and maybe see if you find some nice spots to watch. There is always nice adventure happening, I think, along our missions. And of course, the game also has its lengths. That's just realistic when you're looking for enemy targets, enemy merchantmen. Sometimes it's really a thing of a patience game. But from my point of view, this only increases the immersion of this beautiful simulation. It's no quick action game, it's no arcade, it's a real simulation. Of course, you could tweak or you could change the settings, the difficulty settings. I'm actually playing on almost 100%, enjoying the high immersion level that you get with that. But of course, the game is perfectly fine and great if you reduce the difficulty level just as well, particularly for beginners. And as you might already have heard between the lines, I really like to advertise that game. It's great. It's, I think, the best the best UBOAT simulation ever made. And the guys, it's just a small development team, and even the more, I pretty much like these small studios, and I really like to see them being successful with certain titles. And this one here definitely is. So, time. It's so in real life here it's around midnight, and in game it's also around midnight. And let's do some time acceleration and see that we get back to our home port. At the moment I'm sailing with the Type 9. Only thing is that I found out that the Type 9, I just upgraded. A few missions ago I upgraded to the Type 9, and meanwhile I found out that the Type 9 is bugged in terms of leaks, in terms of hull breaches. They are unrealistically high in flow rate, and this is why I decided on my next stay in port to go back to the Type 7 and wait until they hopefully fix this bug. So that's where we are. Discipline is high, perfectly fine. Did we fire torpedoes? The mission is already going quite some time. We have fired a few torpedoes, and I think meanwhile we have emptied the deck stores. Yeah, so in total we have fired 5 torpedoes, and yeah, we have been running into a lot of single merchants, where we could actually convince the crew to abandon the ship freely and giving us the opportunity to just board it and sink it without any effort, without any waste of torpedoes. Bit of water in the bilge, so why not turning on the pump for a few minutes, and let's keep going with a bit of time acceleration. Well, let's give it a save. By the way, let's report this sinking to the headquarters and give it a save. It's a new stream, new save. And let's give it some time acceleration. By the way, let's briefly check our tonnage situation. Yeah, nice. So you see we are doing the mission set of the Battle of the Mediterranean, and we already have finished the first 2 subsets, and right now we are heading for 250,000 tons. And it's a bit more than 100,000 tons to go, so I wouldn't say that we are on the final stretch, but it's converging. Yeah, you see, me playing on pretty high difficulty level, that also means that I have turned off this auto marking of other ships on the map. So I am actually doing all this tracking of other ships by the contacts and manually put them onto the map. I really love this. I would even love to do real navigation, so that you have to determine your position by using a sextant, and navigation by the sun, the star. Yeah, removed koala. It's a bit earlier for you, I think, across the pond. Maybe something like 8 o'clock would be my guess. No, earlier, more something like 6 o'clock, right? So let's accelerate further.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Wird erledigt, Herr Kanol. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kanol. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, there is this weather forecast system since the last update. I just don't quite get its meaning, to be honest. It feels a bit useless, but maybe I just didn't get the point yet. So here we are. Let's do another hydrophone check. You never know. Okay, it's rather shallow here, but yeah, we could hydrophone check anyway. So, hydrophone check. The crew is gonna bring the boat down to 50 meters. Here, Mr. Arles just opened the valves. The crew has manned the depth steers. Off-watch crew is running to the fore compartment. and the ballast tanks being flooded with seawater. Everything takes a little time, so nothing is instant action. And this is what I really love about the game so much. It's not like you are pressing buttons and you are controlling a machine instantly by pressing the right keys on the keyboard, but yeah, you give orders to the crew and the crew then starts to carry out issued commands, and then step by step things start to happen.
Meter.
This is why I also like to categorize this game as a role-play game. Somebody in the stream once remarked that it's something like The Sims in a submarine.
10 Meter.
Now let's see if there is any more contacts around. And if not, I think we are gonna go straight back home.
Aktuelle Tiefe 15 Meter.
Yeah, we had a lot of contacts during that voyage, during that patrol. How many ships did we sink? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, maybe something like 8 ships. We will see later in the report. Yeah, Mr. Schneider is continuously doing the maintenance on the torpedoes, which is pretty important to have them ready all the time. Yeah, we are now at 50 meters and the crew has stopped the engines. And now we are silently listening for 5 minutes to see if there is any contact around. Down here, the sea is so very quiet, away from the surface, away from the wind, the waves, all the noise. The hydrophone develops an enormous range. Like today, more than 90 miles radius, and within this radius we should be able to detect just any moving propeller. But at the moment it looks like we are not lucky. Seems to be nobody within the range. Yeah, even the better. My original plan was to get back home quickly to change back to the Type 7. But on the way back, we were again and again running. So we went so far as somewhere here. And on the way back again and again, we ran into enemy lone merchants, which actually wanted to be sunk. Yeah, but obviously no contact at the moment. Let's give it a bit of a time acceleration. So blowing the tanks, Mr. Ahlers opening the valves so that now compressed air is rushing into the ballast tanks and pushing the water out back to the sea. And there we are already back on the surface. Let's carry on. Yeah, from here on, I think it's not worthwhile to waste time doing hydrophone checks, because we would only run into fishermen. So let's keep going. Yeah, this is actually the first time ever that I went to the Mediterranean in the game. And yeah, it's nice, but some critics, yeah, so there seemed to be no air coverage being implemented yet in the Mediterranean, which is a pity. They should really do that. I didn't run into a single air raid ever, and now I am patrolling the Mediterranean since months, and except for one time, I was only running into single merchants. So all that time, I only once ran into a decent convoy. I mean, of course, single merchants are great because it's easy to sink them. It's easy wins. But yeah, a convoy, some cool convoy action, I'm missing it meanwhile. So we can all look forward to having finished the Mediterranean missions and then go for, yeah, what would we do? The last stand, maybe? In the Atlantic. Yeah, I think historically we were already a little bit late when we entered the Mediterranean. However, as I said, the very first time that I entered the Mediterranean in the game, so I was curious how it would feel. And generally, it's the very first time that I do a playthrough that late into the war. So, my aim actually is to finish the game in this run. I mean, not today, I mean in this playthrough.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Bestätigt.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, I have a watch schedule of 4 hours. So every 4 hours after a change of watch, I have to allocate the crew, support anew. So I always try to ensure that the officer who is caring for the engines has 2 additional crewmates to support him, because that would mean that they have reduced fuel usage. At the same time, I always try to make sure that the guy who is actually on the watch with the passive radar detector also gets 1 additional sailor for support, because this slightly increases the range of the passive radar detection.
Unterstützung.
Okay, coming home. Hey, hey, Vulvulu. Great to have you in. How are you doing? How are you doing down there on the other side of the Mediterranean? Somewhere around there. Yeah, I hope you had a good week. I'm fine, actually. Yeah, my weeks are pretty busy, job-wise, the last weeks, but it's alright. And yeah, today I had a very fruitful meeting in the morning and some, I would say, fairly successful work in the afternoon. So it was a decent day, and yeah, in total, the week was alright.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
Yeah, actually, on Wednesday afternoon, I had a meeting with some guys which I regard to be pretty weird, but luckily, yeah, this is not affecting my work. Really. Yeah, it's just amazing how weird people sometimes are. So there we are, coming into the range of our home port, our, well, temporary home port. Ah, okay, nice. So you had a day off today, but that probably means that you're gonna have to work on the weekend, I would guess. But, well, that's just fair. And maybe sometimes it might be alright to have a weekday off. So have you been playing something particular, or?
Herr Kaloy, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
We are coming in, it's midnight. And there we have the city lights of La Spezia. Yeah, UBOAT, of course, and okay, Starship Troopers. I've been watching some YouTube videos about that. It's I'm not quite sure which one it is. It's more like a first person or third person shooter, isn't it? If I remember right, combined. Ah, no, okay. Real-time strategy. Okay, alright. There are several, aren't there? Picking up that Starship Troopers topic. I actually did read the book. Something like, well, last year or 1.5 years ago. I never read it before. I watched the movie back then, quite some years ago. Okay. Yeah, I, I pretty much liked the book right away. About the movie back then, I remember that I was a bit, I don't know. I was a bit torn apart. And I would say the book is definitely a bit different in the message and in the atmosphere than the movie. So, yeah, it's years ago that I watched the movie. I actually went to the cinema back then, and I think I haven't seen it since then. That must be something like 15 years ago. Now, maybe 20. Ah, shit. Now again, I gave away hints of my actual age, which I usually should avoid, maybe. Yeah, right, isn't it? The movie is kind of a satire of war and dictatorship. And when I watched the movie, during watching it, I was a bit in doubt. So while watching it, I was in doubt. Is it now a satire or is it kind of serious? And well, in the end, I also came to the conclusion that it was not serious, but it was kind of a satire on war and dictatorship. But during watching it, I was a bit torn apart. And yeah, and the book is kind of different. It's not like that. Yeah. Yeah, back then I had that impression that all this military organization in the movie pretty much reminds me of the German Second World War Nazi regime in a way. And I was put aback a bit by that, but finally I think it was kind of a satire, yeah. But not quite clear. Exactly, that's the point, and that was my worry since then, that many people really mistook it for glory. Yep, 100%. I 100% agree. That was exactly kind of my thing where I wasn't sure how it was actually meant, or like you really put it into the right words. So the fear that people might really mistake it. Yep. Yep.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And yeah, it was weird in a way. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's funny. I mean, if you consider what the book message actually is, and then somebody makes a movie out of it. So if I were a writer and somebody came along making a movie out of my book, of course, at first I would be pretty happy because it would probably mean a lot of money. But if the message would be so completely different,
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Yeah, but maybe I should watch the movie once more. If you consider it as a satire, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. So here we go. Entering port, and maybe at that point we should reduce speed. Yeah, let's reduce speed when we enter the inner part of the port.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
I don't quite remember, but the book is pretty old already, isn't it? Is it from the 60s or the 70s or something? But to be honest, I don't quite remember. Yeah, risky storytelling. Yep. Yep.
Alarm! Los geht's, Männer! Lasst uns einige Schiffe versenken!
Alarm beenden.
Yeah, I think this alarm is the bug. It's probably just fishermen. Italian fishermen. Yeah, I really love this view of the ports. I love this atmosphere that you get from the lighthouses. Yeah, maybe it's not quite realistic because back then in the war, probably there would have been what in Germany was called Verdunkelung, which means that nobody was allowed to let any light come out of their windows. Yeah, yeah. I really wasn't aware how the movie was received by critics, but obviously not that good, yeah. Yeah, exactly, that was the point. So, I think back then there were patrols going through the nightly streets, and if you would have any light shining out of your window, they would come up and take you. Yeah, take you where they used to take people who were not cooperating with the system properly, or who were just at the right time in the wrong place. At the wrong time in the wrong place, I mean. Yeah, we did sink quite a bunch of tonnage on that mission. It was all single ships, but in total, it should be quite a lot. Let's see, I'm curious.
Zielposition erreicht.
All right. a save and see what we managed to reach. Mission completed.
Alarm!
Oh, not again, come on. Okay, Siegfried Ahler's got quite a few points for repairing critical leaks. Mr. Grade as well. Now the captain. One freighter, one tanker, another freighter, another freighter, freighter. So looks like it was actually 8 ships that we did sink. Yeah, something like 40. I think more than 40,000 tons in this single mission. That's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And nice. So my first guess was pretty accurate. Objectives reached. Good.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Was kann ich für Sie tun?
We will see.
Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen, Herr Kommandant.
Herr Kommandant, gut, Sie wiederzusehen. Was führt Sie zu mir? Sind Sie Ihres derzeitigen Bootes überdrüssig oder hat es schon bessere Tage gesehen? Nun gut, sehen wir uns an, was die Werften derzeit für uns bereithalten.
Überdrüssig, das ist so ein Wort. It's a very kind of ancient word, obsolete word in German. Überdrüssig. Change U-boat, yep. Let's go back for the type 7C. Please do so.
Alarm! Aufgefechtsstation!
Okay. That looks buggy, does it? Oh no. That looks completely bugged. Oh shit. Oh shit. What is this? Anybody of you have you ever occurred this after having changed the submarine that you have a completely black, it's not completely black, it's kind of shadows. Oh no. All right. Okay, that's kind of weird. do we have? Now again, we only have these shitty torpedoes. After having changed all the stores. Yeah, well, but we have sufficient budget, so this is not gonna be the problem. Yes, yeah. I'm going back to Type 7 because the Type 9 is buggy. At least the Type 9A is buggy in terms of leaks. So hull breaches give you completely unrealistic flow rates of water coming in. And so I decided to go back to the Type 7, at least until they kind of fix that. So here we are back in our good old Type 7. And yeah, let's see what we have.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Ja.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Herr Kapitän?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay, that looks good.
Herr Kapitän? Herr Kaloin?
All right.
Ventilation einschalten. Ventilation ausschalten.
Let's transfer the potassium filters to the ventilation system. Armor piercing we don't need. Okay, alright, let's see. Open the port menu. Oh, well, better give it a save.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant.
the quartermaster.
Was kann ich für Sie tun? Jawohl, das steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
All right, torpedoes now. Hey, no, not that shitty torpedo. Please, like that. So, the T1, they are the steam powered, and the T3 is the electric driven torpedoes, and the pistol PI2 and the pistol TPI3, they are the more modern ones, which tend to be less defective. Alright, so luckily there is good torpedoes in the stores. Stern torpedoes storage. Please give it this one. So for the stern torpedoes I used to use the sound-seeking torpedoes. Stern torpedo tube. And the external storage. Okay, so I think I can perfectly live with this loadout. Yeah, for the stern torpedoes I used to load the sound-seeking torpedoes because yeah, it's this standard situation. You get followed by a destroyer and it's on your tail. And when it's just following you right away, it has such a small cross-section to hit that you would never manage to hit it with a conventional torpedo. But the sound-seeking torpedo actually then would home in and sink the guy.
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Verstanden. Ich zeige Ihnen die verfügbaren Optionen.
Any upgrades? The deck gun is fine. Oh, I have the default. Ah, shit. Now I have to invest all that money into that upgrade of the conning tower. So that's really a lot of money I have to waste here. But yeah. Luckily we are pretty fine in terms of money. Let's see which other upgrades we are missing. Accumulators 3 we have. Okay, that's strange. So the other upgrades are still there, those which we already did pay for. Only that conning tower upgrade got lost. And the hydrophone. Okay, I also want to have that one. The toilet upgrade. And I think the rest is fine. But okay, that's a clear sign. Don't switch too often between the boats because you tend to lose money.
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen, Herr Kommandant.
Yeah, let's rest until all these improvements are done. Yeah, that's just the fisherman. Which is also kind of a bug that they're going to alarm for just any fisherman. So guys, please step away from alarm. So, anything being loaded?
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Einige Männer haben sich gemeldet, sie könnten eine... Sehr gut, Herr Kommandant. Kommen Sie jederzeit... Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Einige verstanden. Ich werde Sie umgehend registrieren.
Now, okay, we have these prisoners of war. Let's free them, which would give us money and reputation for saving them.
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut, Herr Kommandant. Kommen Sie jederzeit zu
Ja,
mir,
Herr
wenn Sie noch
Kommandant.
etwas benötigen.
Was benötigen Sie? Gute Jagd, Herr Kommandant.
Herr Kommandant, gut, Sie wiederzusehen. Was führt Sie zu mir? Sehr gut. Gute Jagd da draußen, Herr Kommandant. Wegtreten.
So I think at that point we could go for the next mission.
Ja, Herr Kommandant. Was benötigen Sie? Ein Blick auf die Karte, Herr Kommandant. Wir haben aktualisierte Aufklärungsdaten zu den Nachschubrouten in der Arktis. Hier sind die vorrangigen Planquadrate für Ihre nächste Feindfahrt.
Medium difficulty.
2 gewartet.
Anticipated number of vessels is small. Small. It's all small anticipated number of vessels. Yeah, let's do that one on high difficulty level.
Gute Jagd, Herr Kommandant.
Thank you very much.
Same Fahrt voraus.
Are we really fine in terms of stores? No, we are not. No, we are not.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, okay.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Alarm! Auf Gefechtsstand!
Dafür haben wir trainiert. Wir werden das gemeinsam durchstehen.
Yeah, we need a bit more stuff before we cast off. Some food and equipment.
Zielposition erreicht.
So, give me the quartermaster, please.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Was kann ich... Jawohl, das steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
Fuel is alright. Ammo, no. So. Okay, that's weird. That's... come on. Why is this so different to what we had?
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen, Herr Kommandant.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ja?
Okay, that's a bit weird. Why did they drop their inventory?
Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Herr Kaloin?
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kalon? Herr Kalon? Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Yeah, they had that in their personal inventory and suddenly it was dropped into the stores.
Jawohl, Herr Kalon.
Ja,
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Herr Kapitän?
Jawohl.
Guten Tag, Herr Kommandant. Jawohl, das steht derzeit zur Verfügung.
Let's better do it like that. So, should I have some additional spare parts or some additional medicines, medpacks?
Sonst noch etwas, Herr Kommandant? Sehr gut. Kommen Sie zu mir, wenn Sie etwas benötigen.
Now get the stuff on board. And
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Herr Kapitän?
Ja?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloin?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ja?
yeah, I think we can go like that. That's just fine.
langsame Fahrt voraus.
Now mission area is there. Let's delete all the markers from our last mission.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
All right.
Kurs setzen.
Underway again.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And some tonnage to sink.
Alarm! Auf Gefechtsstation.
Ah, come on, that's ridiculous. That's amazing that the Mediterranean is really not part of the new updates that we got recently, and I would say that the Mediterranean is not yet working properly. So they should have really put some effort into preventing this happen, that you have an alarm every second from Italian fishermen. They should have introduced air patrols in the Mediterranean, and they should have put in more escorts, like, I mean, real convoys. Being in the Mediterranean now since months, I did run into only one convoy. All the other ships were just single ships. So I think the Mediterranean area still needs a bit of optimization. Ah, hi. Aqua Icing, nice to have you in. How are you doing? Over the pond. Nice to have you in. It's always a pleasure to have you. Yeah, we are just on the way for another mission. Just ordinary patrol in the Mediterranean. We still have something like 100 tons to sink. To finally finish this whole set of missions. Yeah, my week was fine so far. I hope you also had a good week. Yeah, we're almost through. It's Friday. Around here it is already Friday. We are 1 hour into the Friday, and I think you are still something like 5 hours away from Friday, I would guess. I mean aqua icing. Yeah, Volvolo, we are just on the same.
Alarm! Auf Gefechtsstation.
Longitude, right?
Als eingespielte Mannschaft werden wir dem Feind zeigen, wozu er in der Lage ist.
I'm never 100% sure what is longitude, what is latitude. Always actually have to think about that. I never can say it by my heart, I have to admit. But we are talking about longitude, right? We are at the same longitude, Volvolo, so we don't have any time shift. Some difference in latitude still.
Halbe Fahrt. Voraus.
Yeah, fishing boats, come on. We don't have to go to battle stations because of a bit of a fishing boat. Yeah, Colin, yep. But I never can tell it by heart. I always have to have kind of a second of thinking about which is which. Yeah, maybe that's a good mnemotechnical support. Yep. I think I'm gonna keep that in mind. That's a good point. That's gonna help me, I think. Yeah, or if you have that issue in the back of your mind, it's the longitudinal problem since centuries. Yeah. Yeah, but I think your hint is better. I think this is gonna help me definitely. So that I can pretend to be smarter, not having to think about that, which is which. Yeah. Yeah, ship spotted.
Funkraum besetzen.
But it's just a fisherman. Let's report it nevertheless. Fishing boat spotted. Yeah, great. 150 Rice mark we get for that report.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kalon.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
On the way to the mission area. By the way, allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute, please. yeah, a long way to the mission area, and yeah, for this stretch I wouldn't even do hydrophone checks because we would probably just run into fishermen. But from around here, experience would tell me that we would start to have some probability to run into enemy merchantmen. So let's give it some acceleration.
Gewartet.
And here we go.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty fine weather. So up to now we were never running into any serious storms here in the Mediterranean.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kalon.
Okay, nighttime coming up. It's December, just 3 days till Christmas.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich, Herr Kalon. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Kümmere mich darum.
So let's go one more shift, one more 4 hours, 8 bells, and let's do a hydrophone check here.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
So according to the map, we have 500 to 750 meters. So for the hydrophone check, perfectly fine.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, just great to be back with good old Type 7.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Down we go. Yeah, it's much more agile anyway. I'm not sure. I think I like the Type 7 better anyway. More than the Type 9. Of course, still it's great to have that additional alternative. For longer range, but in the Mediterranean, the Type 9 doesn't make much sense, to be honest.
Ja? Natürlich, Herr Kalon.
Food is fine.
55 Meter. Meter.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kalon?
Wenn sich die Sonne neiget, der feuchte Nebel steiget, mein Tagwerk ist getan, mein Tagwerk ist getan. Meter.
Yeah, pretty much looks like there is no contacts in the range. Yeah, yep. That's right, Volvolu. We get some contacts. Not too far away. Medium speed might indicate that it's not a fisherman. Single contact, 01. Alright. So I'm optimistic that this is actually some merchantman to sink. Let's finish the 5 minutes of hydrophone check. Just to make sure that we don't miss anything. Being down here in complete silence and just listening for 5 minutes. Now that I hear that guy coughing in the crew, I remember that I didn't have any special event since months. I just hope that they weren't optimized out of the game. Okay, let's go for that guy.
Äußerste Kraft voraus. Kurs setzen.
An ordinary merchant would go with something like 8 knots.
Aktuelle Tiefe
We are going with something like 17, 16 knots. Let's go for 1 hour. It's 10 past 10. Let's sail until 10 past 11. And give it a save right here.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
O'clock. And here we are, 10 past 11. Let's give it another hydrophone check to get a
Auf 50
second data point. So we got this one single hydrophone check, And after 1 hour, now we should get a second data point, and this would reveal their speed and their heading.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Meter.
Herr Kaloin? Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 10 Grad.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Meter.
That doesn't look good.
50 Meter.
That pretty much looks like a slow moving. Yeah. That's just a slow moving fisherman for sure. No point in chasing him down.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 0 Grad. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Another one.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 20 Grad.
And the third one.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Ah, come on, loads of contacts. Let's just hope that at least one of them is not a fisherman.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Hey, Captain Paddy. Nice to have you in. Good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, I would say the update is it's okay, but it's not groundbreaking. Of course, you have this completely new ship, but problem is that if you have the Type 9A, it actually has a few bugs in terms of leakage, which, if you ask me, makes it more or less unplayable at the moment. So they really have to fix a few things. It's like, yeah, if you have hull breach, you have a flow rate of water into the boat which is completely unrealistic, and this is actually why I shifted back from Type 9 to Type 7 in my campaign. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, lurking, it's perfectly fine. Just watch if you like to. But of course, I'm very, very happy to see that you make yourself visible in the chat just as well. So I would say the update is all right, and I really I really don't want to talk shit about the developers, but because they're just great. It's just a few guys, and it's amazing that they actually created this game. And still, well, if you ask me about the last update, I would say finally, bottom line, there is a lot of small things about gameplay which would have been better to be tweaked than introducing that Type 9. That's my gut feeling.
Anblasen.
Yeah, if you ask me, it's really the best submarine simulation since years.
Aktuelle Tiefe.
So much immersion.
Herr Kaloin?
No, it's not. I am in the Mediterranean. I did the Black Pit quite some 1.5 years ago. I did the Black Pit, and I did these missions on the other side of the Atlantic. And then I went back and did the Arctic Convoys mission set, and now I am in the Mediterranean. And this is one of the points. So it's, yeah, okay, they did this new boat, but yeah, if now it's the very first time that I visit the Mediterranean, and it's a bit disappointing. There is no any air cover, no air patrols going down on you, and no real convoys, only mainly single ships. So I think there is also work to do on the Mediterranean before they dive into far away mission areas. Yeah, tip of Northern Ireland, yeah. Yeah, for me it was alright. I somehow managed to get through pretty smoothly. Might have been good luck, but it was by far not as tough as it was in the movie. Now, let's go for one more hour. And see about the position of these contacts that we got. Okay, so I did a different strategy. I dived away, I dove away, and sneakily got through without much enemy contact.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
And please give me the next hydrophone check. So 3 contacts. Let's hope that at least one of them is not a fisherman.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Schraubengeräusch. Heilung.
Yeah, the 100 depth charts, yep. I'm actually playing with one single mod now,
20 Meter.
which takes me out of these achievements. I'm playing with the Deep Leagues mod, which I quite like. That's actually the only mod that I have installed at the moment.
45 Meter.
So 2 hours.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kalan?
I think we can ignore that guy. It's pretty sure it's just a fisherman.
Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Heilung 5 Grad.
There is quite a lot of mods and quite a lot of nice mods. Only after the update I was afraid keeping them. So
Heilung 15.
what I'm now 100% sure what still works is the Deep Leagues mod. That's just great. It kind of introduces this concept of the deeper you go, the more you have some kind of minor leaks, like you have a gasket blowing away or a pipe or something or a valve.
50 Meter.
And then you have to kind of replace it. That's a nice mod. It's not like in the vanilla game you go deeper and deeper and at one point you just get crushed. But it's kind of gradual. And it's a great mod and it does work since the update.
55 Meter.
Yeah, and this is the difference. Like when you dive when you have the mod active, you really have, you find some kind of weak points.
320 Grad.
You find some weak points of the boat, like a gasket or a valve, and have to handle it. Now let's see. One hour. Ah, come on. This is also just a fisherman.
Herr Kapitän.
What about you, guy? Also just a fisherman, pretty sure.
Herr Kapitän.
Now those mods I actually got from the Steam Workshop, yeah. Yeah, so the Mediterranean is pretty lame, I would say, but that was tough when I was doing the Arctic convoys, for example, or also over the pond here, the Operation Drumbeat. That was convoys which had something like 12 or 15 escorts all around the convoy. That was tough, but good fun.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, indeed, that's amazing, yep. But luckily it didn't help them win the war. Ah, we got quite a wave. Yep. Out of the Thames, yep. And in Germany we have it regularly. Well, I mean regularly, but at least once a year there is some report of a larger German city where another piece of ordnance, a bomb was found from Second World War. Yeah, we do have quite a swell. What's the weather? 12 knots of wind speed. That's not too much. But we still have quite some swell going. There's one more contact. I think we are gonna ignore it. They all seem to be fishermen. So let's go back to cruise speed. Yeah, let's keep going and do a bit of time acceleration.
Etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
And let's give it one more hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 35 Meter.
Okay, Wolf, was he actually playing? Was Pack actually playing this game? U-boat? Did he have some mod? Yeah, I love them. Wolfpack, he's doing great videos, yeah.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 35 Grad. Meter.
So did he play the game? Did he play Wolfpack recently?
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter.
Because this is really a great game. It has great potential. Only problem is that it is... Yeah, it's for U-boat nerds like us.
Meter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, U-boat. So I was just referring to what you said about new instruments. And so I thought he might also be playing the game Wolfpack. So because I'm not aware of any new instruments in U-boat.
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter. Ja?
Mm.
Meter.
Another contact, yeah. Okay, yep, a mod, yep. So what was it actually? That he was using? Hey, Uncle Bot. Good evening. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing? What have you been playing? Okay, I thought you were doing some stream by yourself. Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna check that. I'm pretty curious about mods, but on the other hand, I'm also a bit skeptical because, yeah, I had that very bad experience with the Whales mod, where I thought that it would be just a minor change in gameplay, and finally it crushed the game, and I had to reload an earlier state to get rid of these bugs. So, yeah, that kind of confirmed my skepticism about mods. Particularly after the update. Still, please allow me to be AFK for just 1 minute. Sorry guys, I'll be back in 60 seconds. Schwitzarsch, yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Yeah, the humidity. Yeah, hey, beautiful word. Do you have German roots? I mean, kind of German ancestors? Or how do you get that wonderful word of The Schwitzarsch. Nevertheless, allow me to be AFK just for 60 seconds. Alright, sorry guys, I was AFK and while I was away, Pit was raiding. Hey Pit, nice to have you in and thank you very much for the raid. That's very much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Uncle Bot. That word is it's not pretty common, I would say, in recent daily language, but maybe I kind of like it. Maybe I would like to pick it up into my vocabulary, in mine and my friends.
30 Meter.
From the Schwarzwald, yeah, okay, nice.
10 Meter.
Yeah, nice to have you in, Pit. So, as usual, you have been doing the hardcore thing, right? Yeah, not today, but I think yesterday I had been watching your stream for a little while on my other account on my mobile.
Herr Kapitän.
So there was a convoy. Let's go for it.
Erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Let's go for it. Wow, wow, Captain Jimbo. Oh, wow, now we are having quite a few experts here. Captain Jimbo, Uncle Bot, and particularly Pitt. That's great. Good evening. Nice to have you in. Getting pretty crowded. So, I mean, of course, welcome to you guys, Pitt, Uncle Bot, and Captain Jimbo for raiding. And, of course, also a warm welcome to just all the guys you brought with you. So what I need now is some engineering capability at the engines. And let's go flank. Let's go after that guy. After 1 hour, he should be somewhere. Let's assume that this guy is just an ordinary merchantman. Then after 1 hour, he should be somewhere on that circle. And us, after 1 hour, yeah, let's assume that we are going with something like 6 knots, 16 knots. Yeah, we just finished a patrol, which was perfectly fine. And this one, well, we just went all that way from La Spezia to here. And on the way, we just ran into fishermen, actually. And now I hope that this new contact maybe is not a fisherman. Let's see. By the way, Captain Jimbo, you had been playing Foxhole again, haven't you? No, it's 6:10. Yeah. As I said, I think I would love the game just as well. It's just this kind of game where I'm afraid to dive into, because if I would actually start to play that game, I would dump so many hours into it. Now let's go for 1 hour. Till, what was it? 10 past. Yeah. And here we are. Give it another hydrophone check. Second data point now. Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, yeah. I'm pretty sure that it is completely addictive. And this always frightens me. I mean, now it frightens me. In the past, it might have been different, but now that, yeah, well, all of us, we have a bit of a limited time. So there is the job, there is the family. And, yeah, into that, we somehow have to squeeze our gaming hobby. And there is quite a few games which I would like to dive into, and I just don't dare. Ooh. So, come on. This is pretty much of a fast mover then. Could that be? Is this guy actually moving with 14 knots? Is this possible?
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet. Aktuelle Tiefe 35 Meter.
Alright, let's see.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
14 knots, that's not medium speed. Maybe there is a second ship now, which we didn't have on the screen before. Let's see, let's finish the hydrophone check. 5 minutes.
Meter. 40 Meter.
Yeah, that would be tough to catch up with the guy. But, yeah, we have to go that way anyway. So, Pitt, how was your patrol going today? Got some tonnage?
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Ah, Uncle Bot, I didn't see that remark. The Sumpfarsch. Yeah, well, not quite what you would actually use. But nevertheless, that about the Schwitz arch I like.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 135 Grad.
Okay, another one. Oh yeah, I don't know. That might be one of these fishermen. I would guess one of these fishermen. So let's ignore that contact for now.
Anblasen.
And there we go.
Aktuelle Tiefe 30 Meter. Kurs setzen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Oh, come on. That's fast. 14 knots per 14 miles per hour. We should be able to go a bit faster, but
Auf Dieselmotoren
that would be tough to catch up with them.
Aufgetaucht.
So it's 7:15. Let's carry on till 8:15.
tauchen auf. 50
And one more hydrophone check, please, guys.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 auf Meter. E-Motoren wechseln.
Now let's see what we hear.
Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 30 Grad. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Wow. The guy's really going that fast.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Knots. That's gonna be tough to catch up with him. It's gonna be night before I am in front of him. Yeah, but let's hope that it's a big tanker giving us lots of tonnage.
50 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, C3 or T2, right? Not many transport ships are going with that speed. 12 knots. I would even think it's more probable that it's a C3. The last C2 tankers that I had, they were more going with something like 10 knots. Yeah, but we are gonna see. So our distance from their course, yeah, it would still be enormously large, so I could even more get more close.
Anblasen. 35 Meter.
There we go, back to the surface.
Meter.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Okay, 8:25.
aufgetaucht.
Yes, of course we are. 1 hour. Give it another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Yeah, if it goes on like that, we have a fair chance to catch up with this ship.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Down we go.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Seemotoren wechseln. 25 Meter.
Hauptgeräusch. Peilung 25 Grad.
Fünfundvierzig Meter.
There they are.
Meter.
Which distance did they move? Yeah, it's 12. They're moving with 12 knots. Pretty clear. Yeah, I have the whole night to catch up with them.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Bestätige.
55 Meter. Kurs setzen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Yeah, like usual, I used to finish the 5 minutes of hydrophone check just to be sure that I don't miss any other contacts.
50 Meter.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Anblasen.
45 Meter.
Meter. Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
No. Expectation. 1 more hour. Second hour. What about us? 1 hour. Another hour. 2 hours. Let's go till 12:30. And try to catch up with the guy. Oh, fuck. Did I save the game? I'm gonna load soon. Yeah, I just missed the button of the time acceleration. But luckily I just saved right before. Let's load it. Now, here we go. 2 hours. Half an hour. One hour.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
1.5. And 2, here we are, and let's give it another hydrophone check to confirm their position, which should be there by now.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
All right, we are diving.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung 500 Grad.
25 Meter.
Ja? Meter.
We are slowly catching up. Yeah, by the way, it's getting late around here. And it's still only Thursday, which means tomorrow, Friday, I have to get up to work. I don't have to get up that early because usually, like usual on Friday, I can do home office. I have a few meetings with other people via Teams.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
And so I don't have to account for the 1 hour drive to my office, which is pretty comfortable. But still, it's time to go to bed for me right now. So thanks guys for joining. It was a pleasure to have you in.
50 Meter.
So thanks for the raid, Pit. Colin, like usual, always great to have you in. Captain Jimbo, thank you very much for the raid. Vulvalu, great to have had you in from the very beginning. Uncle Bod, same for you. Thank you very much.
55.
And we definitely have to continue the discussion about these kind of German wordings. Captain Paddy, I don't know if you're still there. If you are, it was a pleasure to have that conversation with you. And looking forward to have you back in the stream. Yeah, aqua icing you were in. You were kind of more lurking. Yeah, have a good night. Aqua icing. Was great to have you in. And removed koala. I don't know if you're still there. We had a nice little chat at the very beginning of the stream. And if you're still there, I wish you all the best. And yeah, have a good night, have a good evening, and have a good Friday and smoothly rush into the weekend. So guys, see you. Yeah, Colin, schlaf gut. Thank you very much. And see you then. Bye bye, guys. It's a pleasure. Always.